Hello and welcome to Around the Clock. It's time for our select board update for the meeting that happened on Wednesday, February 2nd. We started at 6:45 with executive session for a discussion of strategy for a project with our ConCom, some litigation there. We opened the meeting at 7 p.m. We jumped right into citizens participation. And from there, we had Brittany Iacaponi, who talked to us about the presentation of the Distinguished Budget 2022 Award. This is the fifth time we've gotten this award. We did have 1 year off, but pretty consistently, she's been getting this award for her work on our budget book, which is, if you've ever seen it, it's pretty impressive, and it's also available online. She is currently working on our 2023 budget information, and that will, of course, be presented at May 2022 town meeting. From there, we had a discussion and an appointment of Anton Tikhomirov for an associate member on our ZBA. John Trefethan, the chair, came and spoke to us, as well as Anton. He has just recently moved into town, but has some great experience with zoning, having sat in the state level looking at some zoning information. So he'll be a great addition as an associate member to our ZBA. From there, we went into another appointment, or actually a presentation from the Ashland Emergency Fund. Roland House, who is the chair of that committee, came and spoke to us. And one of the big questions I asked is they are still always looking for donations, and those can be sent to PO Box 112, Ashland, Mass, or ashlandemergencyfund.org. But right now, they're also the reason he was at our meeting was to tell people they have funds available and they are there to help. If you're having issues with rent or paying your bills because of medical issues or unemployment, reach out to the Ashland Human Services Department at our community center, and then they will direct you or help the emergency fund connect with you to get resources to you if they are necessary. From there, we spoke with Alan McIntosh of Doragon Noodle. They came to us for a 2-day BYOB, bring your own beer or wine, to their restaurant for the 13th and 14th. They are having 2 nights of special Valentine's 5-course price fixed meals. They are taking reservations, and we did approve that 2-day bring your own beer or wine license for them to do that. Check out their website. It looks like a fabulous meal and something new and different for Valentine's Day this year. We then went into our old and new business. We opened the warrant for our May 4th, 2022 annual town meeting. Put that on your calendar so you can be there. And we discussed the timeline for that. We also reviewed and reminded people that on Monday, February 28th at 7 p.m., there will be a virtual open meeting law presentation for all committee volunteers, boards, members here in the town of Ashland. We discussed the inclusionary zoning. This is an article that will most likely be presented at the annual town meeting in May. Inclusionary zoning is a way to include and create more affordable housing by looking at when developers create multiple housing, whether it's a number of single family homes or an apartment building, making sure that they also include affordable housing. And you can take the survey that's out there by the affordable housing group and the group that is working on the inclusionary zoning. You can also discuss it with the planning board when they discuss it. And there is a flyer and survey available that gives you more information. From there, we discussed conservation restriction for Route 1 for 125 Front Street. This is the parcel that has the farmers market in the summer. This was purchased with CPC funds for affordable housing and open space, and we have to determine what we're going to do with it. And we also discussed recreating our what was called the conservation restriction working group. We're looking at calling it the project restriction working group, because it's not only conservation restrictions. There are sometimes other restrictions like affordable housing and historic. So if you are interested in participating in the conservation restriction or the restriction working group, fill out a talent bank form and get that information into Susan Roby, and we will be reviewing that and appointing that shortly at one of our select board meetings. From there, we went into our consent agenda. We had some minutes, we had some donations. We approved the parade permit for the Boston Marathon route. Then we went into priority project updates. Rail Transit District up by the Memorial Drive. There is no update there. From downtown, snow removal has been going on so that they can continue doing some of the work. Draining work is moving into February. Conduit and other work is also being done. They are looking to work as long as the weather cooperates. So on a snowy day, they won't be there, but if it's a nice day, you can see them working on Front Street and Main Street, trying to get work completed. From there, we talked about the public safety and the Mendez building at the public safety building. They are moving forward on the inside of the building. It was amazing to hear from both Steve Mitchell and Joe Mignani, who are the select board members on that, as well as Michael, that once you go inside the building, it's a pretty good size. And considering we have 2 departments that are moving in there with a lot of apparatus, it's understandable. From then we talked about the Mendez School. There has been some noise complaints because of the continuous work of breaking down rock, and a very large rock was found just a few days ago. So that will continue, as well as blasting. If you are interested in getting information or notifications, reach out to the the Mendez Building Committee to get included to any lists that get sent out regarding noise and or blasting. From there, we talked about the Valentine project. Notice is going in to look at what we can do to possibly change the zoning or the restrictions on that property. There is the restriction subcommittee had a large meeting, and they're going to be sending some information back to the select board shortly. Also, they're going to be doing some remediation of some of the soil issues that were found so that we can do either farming or different things on that property. But there was some contaminated soil from arsenic and those kinds of chemicals on the property. We then had our town manager reports, police chief search update. So there was a survey put out a number of months ago. Now they are in the process. They have posted the job. They have gotten input from various people on what that posting should look like. And the next process will be that the resumes will be accepted, and then they'll be going before a selected group of community members for the initial interview process. That'll be whittled down to 3 candidates. And then those 3 candidates will be coming before the town manager in public interviews. It's a similar process to what we did many years ago when we hired Chief Davis. We also had a COVID update. Numbers are starting to go down. There was another booster clinic held at the community center, but numbers are going down. So just be aware of that. Masks restrictions are still in place, but town hall and all public buildings are now open without appointment. So if you need to go to town hall, you can just go, just make sure you're wearing your mask at this point. We started discussing the 23 update. We are going to be speaking with the school committee soon, seeing where they're at with their budget process, and then hopefully having a tri-board meeting to discuss some of the shortfalls and what we need to be doing moving forward. And we wrapped up just at 10 o'clock. And that was the select board meeting for the evening of Wednesday, February 2nd. Thanks for watching this update.